Hey, what's up, guys? Another episode of G&J Podcast here. I'm Michael Mayers, and with me, as always, is Jad Juice. So we're here. We're going to be talking a little bit of something different here. We got the XFL that just concluded its second week this weekend, and we're going to talk a little bit about the rules, the long-term fallout, and the different things that they're proposing. First and foremost, the notorious sky cam that we see used in all-star games and in the NFL and everything. That wired cam that's over top that is that's on a wire, obviously, and it's a bird's eye view. You look down, you get to look down. That actually originated from the first iteration of the XFL back when it opened. I believe it was 2001. So. In that one season, they had a couple things adopted from there, a couple rules that they kind of used as a testing ground and applied to the NFL afterwards. So let's look at some of the rules that they're implementing into this now, and kind of just parse some stuff from it. So first of all, the kickoff. Now, there's a lot of studies that show that the kickoff is the most dangerous play in football. You got guys running full speed at one end, running full speed in the other guys. A lot of injuries risk. Mm-hmm. What they're doing now is they put the players, I believe, 10 to 15, I think it's 10 yards away from each other.
So not that much of a running start?
Like near the returner.
Okay.
So no one can move until the guy catches it. So they're about 10 yards away from each other, standing across, and they just kick the ball, the guy catches it, and it's like it leads to more big plays. Okay. Because there's less running full speed at guys running into each other, so that's safety check. Big plays are more effective now, too, because guys are close to the returner, so he can get a running start and try to get through the first line of defense, and there's no real other people waiting. So now you have a big chance of scoring touchdowns and everything. So it opens up the opportunity for big plays.
I thought that back in the day when they started, they didn't have a kickoff at all at first. I thought it was just like they put the ball in the middle and they run for it.
In the original, in the XFL, that's exactly it.
Right.
They had the ball in the. It was even worse than the kickoff. It was even more dangerous
because they're literally.
They had the ball at midfield and they ran full speed and dove for the ball. Like, that is so dangerous. It's funny because sports usually speak toward the zeitgeist of the times. It usually speaks toward the spirit of the times that we live in. True. And during the early 2000s, that's like X Games, extreme sports, street lugeing, like crazy sports that are like, whoa, this is so extreme sports. Yeah. And now we're at a point where it's like, yo, concussions, let's be safer, let's do this and let's do that. So we go from this age of like hardcore extreme sports, reality television, raunchy, like Survivor just started and all these things. Yep. And now you're getting over to this stage now where we're being a little bit more responsible and we're trying some different things out. I think the kickoff is cool. I think it's an interesting thing. If it's going to obviously help people from avoid injuries in the NFL, it's something that should be adopted. So that is a cool rule that I think they have there. Another cool rule that I think they have is the point after touchdown format.
Oh, yeah.
So they have a tiered system where you could where you have three different ways. So a touchdown, you score, you get in the end zone, 6 points.
So no field goals.
There's no field goals. You get in the touchdown, you get 6 points. Now you have three options. You can go from they're all point after attempts. You get one shot at the end zone. To make it 7, you go from the 2-yard line and you try to punch it in. That's 1 point. That's from 2 yards out. From 5 yards out, that's for 2 points. And the conversion scores you 2 more points. So now you get the 7, and that makes it an 8-point touchdown. And then they have from the 10, you can go for 3 points. So if you want 3 points on top of your touchdown, you go for that one shot to the end zone from 10 yards out. I think it's interesting because it puts it puts the outcome of the game into the hands of the actual players. I'm not saying that kickers aren't actual players, but are they? And then so it's a phase of the game that isn't necessary if you can have guys actually play for it. What's also really cool about it is that if there's a big deficit, no lead is safe. So if you're down by 20 for whatever reason, if you score a touchdown and then get the 3-point, that's 9. You almost chipped off half of your deficit. And then you go and do it again. Okay, there it is. Now you're down by 2. There's no field goal, which is cool because now you got to get to the end zone to win. So it takes away that aspect of cheap points where it's like, oh, we got within the 30-yard mark. Now we're getting 3 points even though we got stopped.
Mm-hmm.
You're more incentivized to go for it on fourth down. You're more incentivized because that's another rule is they've changed the way that they go about the fourth downs and everything because you're less incentivized to punt even. They don't want people punting because it's like if you punt it out of bounds, the ball starts from the 35, which is a very, very advanced field position. Different aspects like that. These are things that I think is a really cool proving ground for what they could do in the NFL. Now, one thing that's a little bit more gimmicky is the double forward pass. We saw the first double forward pass touchdown. Double forward pass is so you're not allowed to throw the ball forward and then have the person who catches it throw the ball.
Right.
You can do that in the XFL, but it's not like I can throw it to you downfield and then you can stand and throw it again. I can throw it to you forward pass behind the line of scrimmage, right? So say the ball's on the 40. If you didn't pass the 40, I can throw it to you and you can throw it again, regardless if I threw it forward or backward. Right. Whereas in the NFL, it's all about that. A lateral has to be a backward pass, or you can't throw it forward. Otherwise, the person becomes strictly a receiver, a runner, or whatever. They cannot be a thrower of the football. It's a little bit more gimmicky, the double forward pass, but it's actually kind of interesting at the same time because it's like we saw the first touchdown, the first play like that, take effect this weekend, actually. The defenders, I think it's Seattle, defenders, they threw the ball, and the guy caught it behind the line, looked up, saw a guy open and threw it again. That's kind of cool. Throw it to a guy, let the next guy throw it.
Changes up the dynamic.
It changes up the dynamic where you're like, okay, well, this guy, if you're behind the line of scrimmage and you catch the pass from the quarterback, it doesn't matter. If you didn't pass the line of scrimmage, you can throw it again, which is kind of cool. It opens up some options.
Maybe you can put in two quarterbacks at the same time.
Right, and do some weird stuff. Imagine, for example, if Baltimore was able to do that with Lamar Jackson and RG3 or something.
It would open up a whole fucking new game book.
A whole new game plan, right? So that would be pretty cool. So when you look at the history of the XFL and you look at what it's done for the NFL, from the sky cam to to the reports on the sidelines that was also adopted from the XFL, I believe, like the live sideline reporting. That's something that was also derived from there.
Because a lot of the motto of the first XFL back in the 2000s, early 2000s, whenever it came up, because Vince McMahon started, so he took a lot of the know-how of how to like put on a wrestling event,
right.
And probably put it into the XFL. That's why it seemed so much more gimmicky back then as well, right? But so is Vince McMahon like owning it now again?
I'm pretty sure this is a Vince McMahon
or did he sell it off to someone else?
I'll look it up while you're talking.
Because obviously like they're trying to make it more legit now, not as gimmicky as before, but at the same time innovative and like kind of changing the game up. So it seems like, still owned by Vince McMahon.
It is Vince, yeah.
Who's like, how old is Vince McMahon, bro?
I actually have no idea.
Let's check that as something. I'm curious to find out. This motherfucker's 120 years old. Guess? Okay, hold on. Guess 72.
Oh, close. 74.
Okay.
Look at that.
Nice.
Oh man, he's 74 years young, man. Yeah, that guy's a beast. Net worth 2.1 billion. My God.
I haven't seen him recently, but I'm sure he's still jacked as a motherfucker.
Oh, bro,
he's on all the testosterone.
Get all of that TRT going, man. HGH.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So that's super interesting. I think the XFL will have a nice lasting effect, and I hope that this serves as another proving ground for maybe some cool things to do to speed the game of NFL up a little bit and drum up a little bit more interest and have some more exciting plays.
Sure, and who knows, some players that maybe didn't make it out into the NFL.
You're right. Great opportunity.
Maybe they get a second chance that way. First of all, to make money playing in the XFL, or maybe even get seen in the XFL and be like, like the NFL goes, we missed out on that motherfucker. Like, let's try to get him
There's
back.
no minor league.
No,
there's
like other than the college.
There's no G League or anything like that for these.
So if you get injured
players.
or get fucked up in university, you're done, right?
Where are you gonna go? Yeah. But whereas these guys can use it as a proving ground, I'm sure there will be players that end up playing for the XFL that like earn a spot onto an NFL roster.
I think so,
and I think that is good for the game of football.
I'd like to see that.
All right, so let us know down in the comment section below. Is the XFL something you're even paying attention to at all? Do you think these rules have any staying power? Would you like to see any or none of or all of these rules implemented into the NFL itself? Let us know in the comment section, and we will engage with you there. Check you guys on the next one.
Cool.